What are some easy steps to remember when making the leap into buying a investment property down here in Destin? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to be going over 5 tips to help you do just that. Hi, Kevin here, the investor agent, and today we're going to be going over some great ways to set yourself up for success when you're buying an investment property down here in Destin and the surrounding area. So, tip number 1 is going to be know what type of investment strategy you want to use. Typically, that's going to be a short-term rental strategy or a long-term buy and hold rental strategy. Now, there are some other well-known strategies like flipping, but primarily when I talk to investors, they either want to do a short-term rental or a long-term rental in the area. Knowing what investment strategy you want to use is important because it will really help the agent or the lender that you're working with find the best areas for you and also the best loan product for what you want to do. Now, down here in Destin, we are a vacation market, so short-term rentals really work better than long-term rentals, and that's because in the environment that we are today, where you see interest rates are rising and home prices are at all-time highs, it's really hard to cash flow with the long-term rentals. But with short-term rentals during our on-season, which is from March to September, and we peak in June and July, well, we're still getting strong cash flow numbers. And that leads us into step number 2, and that's going to be find an agent and a lender that works with investors. Now, there are some agents that are generalist and they'll work with anybody, but the best agents typically specialize in a specific niche. So down here in Destin and Miramar Beach, the agents that work with investors are typically the ones that you want to find. The same applies to lenders because they know what neighborhoods are friendly for short-term rentals and which ones aren't. And the lenders know what loan products are good for short-term rentals versus what is better for a long-term rental. Like if an ARM is something that's better because you can get a lower interest rate for a short-term rental, then you might want to do that. But if you're a long-term rental investor, getting a fixed 30-year loan might be the option for you. So that's why understanding what type of investment strategy you want to use and what agent and lender are familiar with what types of investors there are out there is really important. It's also important to find an agent and a lender that works with investors because typically agents that are used to working with investors will have a network of lenders, insurance companies, inspectors, and they'll be able to help you after the transaction closes to find cleaners, handy people, or other people typically associated with the investment process. Tip number 3 is going to be understanding why you would want to get a condo versus a single family home. So down here in Destin, condos are much more affordable as a price point to enter. So if you're a first time short-term rental investor or investor in general and you don't want to commit a lot of capital, then I would say condos is the best route for you. But if you're experienced or if you're really looking for a vacation home that you can rent out when you're not using it, maybe a single family home would be better for you. Now, there are pros and cons, and that is the key to knowing the difference, right? So one of the pros for condos is you usually share the insurance policy. So when you're looking for insurance, you only need insurance for your unit. Whereas with a single family home, if you're looking for insurance, well, you have to get insurance for the entire property, and that is typically a little bit more expensive. But a pro for the single family homes is that they typically have a better ROI because you're getting more bedrooms than you are with a condo. Our 4th tip is going to be choosing a furnished property versus an unfurnished property. Now, most of the time when you are looking at short-term rental properties or candidates that would do well for a short-term rental property, they're going to come furnished and they will convey with the property. Now, you will have to work with your agent and your lender to make sure that the lender doesn't mind having those items on the purchase contract, or if the lender doesn't want to see that stuff on there, knowing how to write up an addendum to still have it convey but not be on the primary purchase contract. Another advantage to choosing a furnished property over an unfurnished property is the expense and the coordination it takes if you're an out-of-state buyer to try to get these pieces of furniture into the property. The last, and in my opinion, the most important tip is going to be knowing the different financing options available to you based on your exit strategy. Now there are two primary exit strategies. They're just buy and hold, and if the property appreciates and you're able to make cash flow. Then there's also the 5, 7, or 10-year exit. So you have specific return numbers you're looking for, and once you hit it within that time period, then you're ready to exit the deal and 1031 exchange into something else. So depending on what your strategy is, you want to pick the best financing option. So maybe a fixed rate, which right now isn't the best option because they're so much higher than they were 2 or 3 months ago, and we're waiting for them to stabilize. Or if you're looking to save on interest rates, going with an ARM product that is not the same type of ARM product that we were seeing in the 2005 to 2008 period. Now the ARM is going to be available for 5, 7, or 10 years typically, and you get a lower interest rate. But it goes back to working with a lender that can identify what product is best for you. So that wraps up today's video. It was pretty quick, but these 5 tips, if you apply them, will save you a bunch of time and headache when buying your first short-term rental down here in Destin, Florida. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to keep putting out more content about investing in Destin real estate. And if you have any questions or if there's a topic that you want to see, please drop a comment below. I would love to make something for you. Until next time, take care, guys.